Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to the greatest show on earth. That is the AC Show. I am MrCarrellScience, aka Chris, and this over here is my good friend
Aaron, aka the Handy Outdoor Nerd. Welcome.
Today, we've got really quite the show planned for you guys.
Oh yeah,
we're gonna start it off. Oh, very exciting, very exciting. We're gonna start it off with some cool prints, like we usually do. We're going to have the condenser because we've got quite a few really cool news stories that have happened within this last week that we'd like to talk about. And then we have, I don't have the banner made, but we have hot tips where we're going to talk about some 3D printing tips to help you in your own 3D printing endeavors. This is especially for beginners, mostly because I'm a beginner myself. So before we go too far, though, let's go ahead and bring in our special guests of the night, and that is Jimmy and Jeff. How we doing today, guys?
Hey, what's happening, guys?
Oh, it's that way.
Here's a story of a guy named Aaron.
Oh, I meant that way.
Look, I'm a puppeteer.
There you go. Awesome. So, how you guys been this last week? How you guys been?
Busy at work. Jimmy had some time off. Yeah, I was pretty busy at work. As Aaron may know, television comes and goes, but this is sweeps month, so yeah, it's one of those months where you don't know what the next story is going to be that they're going to push later on that evening, and it has to be a big sensational story, or it's not worth the time. So it's a little frustrating. It's a little frustrating when you don't know what you're going to do next. But there's plenty of other projects the station is getting involved in. As far as printing goes, I got the G-Max back here running right now. So.
Oh yeah.
And here, I thought you were torturing a cat.
No, the cat is actually the cat is over there. She is sleeping and she's observing. Stella decided to come in here with me tonight, so.
I'm hearing those steppers singing.
Yeah.
It's music to my ears, man.
Yeah. She's printing along. Jimmy, what have you been up to?
Working. Pretty short-handed at work, so. Worked 6 days, 7 days straight, 6 days straight last week. And then finally got yesterday off, went to Yosemite, got away for a little bit. So everything's better. Wife's doing a lot better. Beth had emergency, how was that called? It was a hiatal hernia repair.
Yeah.
That was about a month ago. So that's one of the reasons why I have not been doing anything lately. I've been taking care of her and then going to work. So it's just been nonstop.
Right. Well, but glad to hear that she's doing better.
Oh yeah.
So
a lot better.
Very, very good news. Very, very good news.
So we were gonna try to have Jimmy and Calvin tonight. Calvin couldn't make it. He might pop into chat a little bit later on, until he passes out. And I could just see his face on the keyboard.
Slobbering all over it.
Letters just popping up, just going.
He's going to drool all over his WASDs.
So, Mr. Jeff decided to fill in for Calvin since Calvin couldn't make it. Jeff was on last week, so he's 2 weeks in a row, Jeff.
Yeah, it feels kind of like I'm becoming a regular.
You are. I tell you. You are. And we are very, very grateful to have you on the show.
Give me just a second.
I appreciate you guys asking me, and it's actually a pretty good time slot with me down here in the shop and everybody upstairs sleeping. So.
Yes. Good. Yeah. So we do it late because at my house I've got 3 kids, and so I've got to do it after they go to bed. And then Aaron works overnights, and sometimes he gets called away like he is now, but he has a lot of downtime, and it just works out well to do it at this time for him too. So, but man, this daylight savings time is kicking my butt because to you guys, like yeah, you had to change your whole schedule to make everything an hour different or whatever. But for me, like everything stayed the same. Everything just got an hour later. And so now, my TV shows are on an hour later, or this stream is on an hour later. So now it used to be 10 o'clock and now it's on at 11, and I got school in the morning.
What's up with Arizona? I mean, you guys don't celebrate Martin Luther King Day. You guys don't set your clocks.
We celebrate Martin Luther King Jr. Day.
When did they start?
I don't know. I remember having the day off from school when I was a kid, and we had the day off of school this year too. We had a 4-day weekend, man. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know, man. We respect Martin Luther King Jr. We're there. We're hip. We're woke. We're woke. Can I use that word?
Yeah, you can use that. That one's okay. I'm learning slowly. We can use some of these words as we get older.
Theresa's in the chat.
It's about to get naughty.
Oh yeah. Hey girl.
Oh yeah, we learned we just gotta check the box that says not monetized, right? Or no, we check the box that says not child free.
Yeah, not for kids.
Not for kids.
Not for kids. All right.
I like
So go ahead.
I like to think that I keep my channel pretty clean. Like I personally have not said a swear word in 14 years. And so like I feel like I like to keep my channel pretty clean. So when it asks me, is your content suitable for children? Heck yeah, it is. Like I think so. Would they want to watch it? No, they'd be bored out of their minds. I mean, but adults are bored out of their minds watching my stuff too, so it doesn't matter,
I was gonna say that nobody wants to watch my stuff. Doesn't matter what I put down.
Oh yeah.
So before videos out anymore, nobody watches my stuff.
So before Aaron has to do too much all at one time. So 2 weeks ago in the live stream we had a challenge for likes. We had a like goal. So basically every like that we got in the chat on the stream, I had to eat a zombie Skittle, which if you've never seen the zombie Skittles, they have nasty flavors mixed in randomly. You don't know which one's nasty and which one's good. And so you eat it and it tastes like a combination between garlic and onion and some sort of like anchovy paste, I think. And so it's horrid. So I was eating one Skittle and I was just hoping and praying that it wasn't a nasty zombie flavored Skittle every time we got a like. Well, Aaron, 13 during the stream, and then I ended up having to do a total of 16. That was the whole package. And I had to eat the whole package. Later on, I posted it to Twitter and stuff. But Aaron has decided that this week he's going to have a different challenge for his like goal. But would you like to show them the monstrosity that you've purchased for this event here?
It's the 1 pounder.
The 1 pounder Krabby Patty gummy burger.
That just sounds nasty.
It does.
Just think, when I bought it, I was just thinking about it, and I was just like,
yeah,
I'm regretting my decision. So 16 ounces, 1 pound, or for you guys that want to know the grams, it's 454 grams.
That's a half a roll of filament.
So, yeah, which it probably tastes like TPU.
Right, so I opened it. So every like I gotta take a bite.
There's
and we're sitting at 5 likes right now.
Likes already.
Yeah.
I'm looking at 5 right now on the stream. So you're looking at 5 bites just from the get-go. Do you want to do those in the background, or do you want to just go ahead and take a couple of big monster bites right now?
I think you should take a couple of big monster bites.
I say we do a couple big ones right now, and then you can just go, there's 6 likes now, man.
Everyone's like, let's make it.
I'm trying to find the stream so I can put like on this, like see if we can get them to like get really sick.
Oh, thanks, Jimmy.
So friends do, man.
Oh, geez.
Oh, wait, that's right. I can like it on my phone.
I want to see it.
So Teresa wants to know, I wonder if that's like the sugar-free Haribo bears. If you guys have never gone to Amazon and looked up the 5-pound bag of sugar-free gummy bears, look at the comments and the reviews, because it is hilarious, dude. It's so fun. Let's see if I can.
So I mean, it's literally layered. So you get your bun, you get your leaf, your kale leaf, and you get your kind of tomato, and then your bun.
Oh, look at his fingers. He's already got the taste. Ooh.
Oh,
Hey, you're 7 likes now, Aaron, by the way, just so you know.
How many?
7.
Oh crap!
Anybody on the stream, go and hit the like button right now. Let's make him take as many bites at once as we can.
I forgot to like the video myself. So here we go. We're sitting at 9 right now.
oh.
How is it?
Oh, there's 10 now, Aaron.
I hate you guys.
Is it that bad?
The hardest
The burger's gonna be gone.
the hardest part to bite is this gummy green leaf part. My hands are slimy.
Ew.
That's one bite. Still chew it.
So what does the lettuce taste like? Is it lime or is it lettuce?
I want to say it's kind of probably lime.
Oh,
Or,
it would have been better if it tasted like lettuce.
That would have been really good if it had been like meat flavored gummies. And
Yeah, meat flavor.
Oh,
or what's that plant protein that they're using in 3D printed meat now?
oh, the Beyond Meat and all that
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, have you tried one of those yet?
The stuff that they're doing on the International Space Station. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Mhm.
Yes, I don't know what it is though.
Yeah.
It's probably Vegemite.
So, Brian says lime burger. Yeah. Yum, yum.
Jimmy, you need to sit up a little taller for with those chat comments.
Oh, yeah. So, I'm
Let's
still,
bring the camera down a little bit.
Jimmy, it's like, you ever watch Monsters, Inc., Mike Wazowski?
No.
You never see Monsters, Inc., Jimmy? Are you kidding me, dude?
I haven't seen it.
So one of the monsters is just this little green ball with like a big eyeball, and every time they do like a commercial about the company that he works at or whatever, he's in the commercial, but they always cover him up with like the logo or something. Like the logo's like always like right in front of his face, and everyone always looks down and just, I'm sorry, but it's okay, you'll get it next time. And he just looks up and goes, I'm in a commercial.
I'm on the cover of a magazine.
Yeah. All right.
That's pretty
So I say we go ahead and get
bites.
started here.
You still got a ways to go here, pal.
Yeah, I'm looking at 10 likes right now on the video. I'll keep you posted, Aaron. You're gonna have to just keep on eating. He might not be able to comment for a while, and we're just gonna keep on going.
It looks like a savage trying to bite that sandwich.
I tell you, this gummy part is tough.
Well, you know what? Like your mom would tell you, why don't you take the lettuce off and just eat the meat?
Take the lettuce off. I tell my kid that all the time, or I'm just
not
like,
even sure what this is supposed to be.
It doesn't have any grill marks. That's kind of disappointing.
I guarantee he's going to be regretting this in the morning. I'm going to be getting a text message first thing in the morning. You'll never guess what is happening right now.
oh my gosh, this is fun. Okay.
That was 4 bites.
So I say we go ahead and start. I'm going to change the banner a little bit here, Jimmy, just to help you guys out so you guys are a little more visible now. So I say we go ahead and get started with our first segment. We're going to leave Aaron on screen doing whatever the heck he's doing up there. I guess you call that eating. At least we won't need to get lunch tonight, man. You just chow down. You'll be good all day. Have a sugar high, pass out by midnight. You'll be all right.
Yeah.
I guess it's after midnight where you are. It's not midnight yet where I am. So cool prints. I would like to show off some of my cool prints first, if that's okay with you guys.
Yeah, go for it.
So this, I have been so excited for this.
Real quick here.
Yeah. A big giant mallet.
That's much for that.
Oh man, you fixing the A-net?
I gotta reprint that anyway.
7 bites. So I don't know if you guys are able to see this or not.
6 bites.
So I just posted a video yesterday about some 3D printed wheels that I made to fix some cars that we got for my kids. And in the video, I had used the Amaze 3D Lake Blue, this color here. And it worked really, really well, but it was just PLA. And so in the video, I'm trying to put these wheels on the car, and they're just like a friction fit. And so I'm using a clamp to like squeeze them together. And while it's squeezing, it snapped the end off of one of them that one that I was recording. I had done it like 8 times already and fixed a whole bunch of these cars, practicing so I could do it right on the video. And then when I did it in the video, it breaks. And so, but I didn't have any other ones to put on to fix it with. So I was just like, you know what, just leave it, whatever. But I decided that I wanted to reprint them. I'll see if I can get a better picture here. I decided I wanted to reprint it in a Pet G. So this is actually Alien 3D's probed Pet G. And the really cool thing about this Pet G is that Josh from Alien 3D actually sent it to me free of charge to work on a specific project that I'll give you guys a little sneak peek at in just a minute. But super nice guy. The IC3D Pet G is amazing. It's really, really nice. I've never had a Pet G print without any bubbles or strings, or like I've always really struggled getting Pet G to print well, and this just printed flawlessly. So here's another thing that I printed in that Pet G. It's kind of a translucent Pet G, but I mean it looks super nice. And I designed these pieces so that the end of one pipe would fit into the other just perfectly, and I didn't give any margin for error on that. There is zero tolerance for this, and when I put them together, I mean it just snaps right in. It just, I mean it's great. It's great. I've never used a Pet G so good. So huge shout out to Josh at Alien 3D and IC3D Filament. It has made this project just really, really awesome.
What was the name of it again?
Probed Pet G.
Probe.
Yeah, I'll
Alien Probe Pet G.
It's Alien 3D. I'm gonna put it in the chat so you guys can see. It's I'll put a link in the chat in just a second if you guys want to check it out.
Gotta get me some of that Alien Probe.
Yeah, I know you do, Jimmy. That's right up your alley, buddy.
So what bite are you on there, Aaron?
Last one.
Ah.
So,
Oh, really?
he's taking nibbles now.
Yeah,
Joel.
get that commercial television bite out of that burger.
Yeah, gotta do the.
That is, I mean, you could take that and make a mold of your dentures and fake your own death. You know what I mean?
More than likely.
Nice. Yeah. So, and then one more thing that I'll show off for cool prints, and that is this 3D printed Mario cube.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
It looks really, really cool. Those of you who have been following our live streams for a little while, you might see in the background right about here. This is another one of what I'm making. It's actually a desk lamp. I'm making another one as a Christmas present, but I'm not supposed to say that or who it's for because they might be watching. I don't think they are, but just in case. But yeah, it's going to be a really cool Mario lamp. It's going to be this coin bank is gonna serve as like the lamp shade for it, and then this Probe Pet G is like the perfect color for me to use for the pipes that go underneath it, and that's where all the electrical wiring and stuff is going to be hidden in those pipes.
I had to go wash my hands. That's like slimy.
So that was 10 bites, Aaron.
That was 10 bites.
So right now I'm just kidding. We're still at 10, but I'll keep you updated if we move forward with some more in a minute.
I feel like I'm gonna be a diabetic after this.
Yeah, diabetes. Well, being an actual diabetic, I can tell you that that's not really exactly the way it works. But you know,
I know. I know it's not.
But maybe my brother can chime in because he actually has been diabetic way longer than me. I've been diabetic for about 1.5 years. He's been diabetic for, well, since he was 4 years old, so like 25 years, something like that. But 10 bites. 10 bites, and then he had to wash his hands.
Yeah. I was like,
All right.
to touch everything. And I was just like,
Yeah.
Does anybody else have any cool prints they want to show off in
my
the stream?
son trying to hold a cup.
Well, this is a print. I didn't print this week, but I printed it like a month or so back. I just haven't had a chance to do anything with it just yet. But remember a while back I was talking about a pig pad holder for at work?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So I designed this in Tinkercad, and I actually put a magnet.
Nice.
Got to see if it'll actually work or not. But it's got a pocket here. This one's got the hole in it. And it's meant so there'll be a wooden rod that'll go through there. So it's almost like a paper towel roll. It'll be like that on one of the lifts. Then I printed this thing up so it'll fit on top of the wooden dowel. And I put a screw in it for a kind of like a little handle for it.
Nice.
That's pretty cool.
I'll probably take it to work tomorrow and see. It's not now that I actually made it out here to pick it up. I'll take it to work tomorrow and see if it actually works. Worst case scenario, I had a little bit of double-sided tape if it wants to slide down.
That looks really nice. Did you make that up on Tinkercad?
Yeah.
Sweet.
Sweet. Nice work.
Yeah,
What
my
you
favorite on the Artillery 3D with the 0.8 millimeter, 0.8 millimeter nozzle, the larger nozzle.
Wow.
So it's got the,
What filament did you use?
what's that?
What filament did you use?
I used the AMZ 3D, I believe it's called Lake Blue.
That's
Yeah.
right.
With
Yeah,
the
that's
grid
right.
flow, so you can see the.
Yeah, that's the color.
Yeah. That's the same one that I used for those wheels in my video that broke because I was dumb and tried to use PLA for a non-PLA job.
Then I actually have another print here, but that's what I was trying to get off the printer. It's a. Let me just see if I can just bring the camera over.
Oh, so when you said you wanted the probed PET G, you were serious.
Yeah, you did need the probe PET G for that.
Yeah.
That's that. What is it? Spaceship from
Yeah. Is that the
SpaceX.
Yeah, that's the new ship from SpaceX.
Yeah, this one was the. What is this one? Some kind of a silver PLA I picked up.
Nice. The Falcon
Name on
X?
the roll. But I printed that one. It was about a month ago when I printed it, and it's been sitting on the printer ever since. But I had it sped up way too much, and then so I need to reprint it anyway because it's got some really bad lines down it.
Yeah, that's him. All right, so obviously it's still fall technically here in Missouri, but we had freezing temperatures Monday and Tuesday, and we had snow and ice. So I printed off. I got another one that's bigger, but it's much flimsier, and I got to test this guy actually on a windshield, and it helps scrape off some of the ice.
Oh, nice.
So, I mean, it printed it small. You can hold it kind of like this if you want, or just like this. The other one is actually, let's see, comparison, the base is about like that to this. This is almost how the top is for the other one, because the top one does the same thing. But there's, and they're both off of Thingiverse. It's just type in ice scraper.
Yes.
Find them. I printed it at 2.3 for the layer height. I wanted to see, I'm trying to get it printed faster. And I printed around 6 hours. And this is just some Maker Geek that I've had a little bit on a spool. So I was like, well, let's just use this little bit of a spool since I'm just using it kind of as a test anyway. You can't really see the edges, but some of the actual filament on the outside broke off of it. But in comparison, it didn't do too bad of a job, other than flaking off just a little bit of filament. So whenever I get ice again, I'll test the other one. And then
let me know how that works. 'Cause lived in Chicago all my life, and those flat scrapers, the acrylic clear with a hard edge on them. Those things worked or didn't work, but you know, it's the idea of having it in your, like a fist, being able to grab it like a doorknob instead of, you know, this whole scraping motion, which is, you know, very logical.
You kind of do this motion with it to do it,
which is much more natural than trying to scrape under that ice. And I remember spending an hour trying to get the ice off my car, and that probably would have been a lot easier.
Yeah. So there's a couple different models. And the other one I want to try to print has some bumps up here, so you can have it up like this and scratch into the ice a little bit.
You can do a little bit of chipping on it. Yeah,
kind of scratch it, then get to where you can use this and then go at it, because this just has, well, nothing to scratch it.
Yeah.
And then the other one, I mean, it's just completely open, like from end to end. It's just like this, but it's like, what's that? About 5 to 10 millimeters thick,
So,
maybe between there.
I know this sounds totally dangerous, but what about something like that had like little slots so you could put some razor blades into it? Like,
it's a great idea. I don't know what to say about dangerous.
I mean, it would absolutely work. It would be terrifying with scissors, but it would absolutely work.
And you could use it
ice on my
to skin during hunting season. And then come hunting season, you can use it to skin the buck.
Just shave that fur. Shave that fur.
The prints I did this week.
It does look more like an air hockey little thing.
Actually, I thought it was one of those pasties at first.
Of course you did.
No, it's the Pharaoh chin.
There you go.
Do it. Yeah, just do it like this. You don't want to touch your chin because you don't want to get no grease on you. So you grip it and you stick your chin in the cup.
Wait.
Hello. Yeah.
Can you get me KL 5000, please?
Nice.
Yeah. I don't know. That's a very cool practical print. Definitely something for people who have to. And, you know, you spend $5-6 on those ice scrapers in the stores, especially if you need one in a pinch, they'll charge even more. And if you can just, you know, get the word out, hey, here's something a little bit more practical, and you know, just print a new one.
Oh, Brian.
Jeff?
Oh, Brian.
Is skin the buck a euphemism? No, it's something I don't do because I don't hunt.
Skin the buck. That's what she said.
So, skin the buck. No, the print I was working on this week was just finishing up this bat holder for SLA printers. It's multiple parts. And this is like the funnel part. Yeah, actually got to pull out some elephant putting on there.
Is that the 3D printed SLA?
Yeah, it's basically there's this goes here, and this goes here. And you put your bottle here. You put your tray up in the top in the holder, and the inside of this would fit the paper cup with the strainer in it to take out all the, what do they call it, the paint.
All the particles that are dry.
Yeah, it's got like the little bit of screen at the bottom of the paper cups.
That's
so
cool.
Just put that in first, put this in. It's got a screw for the back. An extra spacer. I printed out all the parts. At first I just printed out a couple of them, but there's one in there for the specifically designed for the Prusa printer, and then the other piece like this is designed for the Anycubic and the Elegoo Mars, which is the production unit I have over there. But everything was printed in this extruder. This is a Green Tech Pro PLA, and like, I kid you not, I didn't clean this up at all. I mean, this first try was fed right in. This really, really super strong filament. They're a bit expensive. You have to get it. It's overseas. It's in Austria.
Okay, yeah, that's the one you were telling us back last weekend.
Yeah, and they're trying to work it out to maybe get a U.S. distributor or even a Canadian distributor. I think they do filament through filaments.ca. Because I think Jordan, the Mad Monkey, was saying that he can get it up near him, but they want like $80. So it's a bit expensive, but you know what? They're a new company, I guess. So these prints were just, these are amazing. I don't think I've had a cleaner print off my G-Max in a long time.
Looks really nice.
I mean, it looks, there's barely any signs of layer lining. It's just, it's nice. I have a little bit of bubbles in my build pack, so the bottom isn't perfect.
Lulzbot says he has zero use for anything like that. He just keeps
oh, just keep, yeah, I know a lot of people don't empty the vat. They just, you know, keep putting resin in it because it's, unless you expose it to light, it's pretty much good for a while. My only concern is that if it's colored resin, you're not stirring it. You know what I mean? Like you really need to, on some of these budget resins, you really need to shake the bottle up really good to get the color distribution, especially if it's like a red or something exotic. If you just get their natural colors, which I think the blue is one of the ones that's easily mixed, the light blue, which I've used before, and obviously the gray, which is the base color, I think, for most of the stuff. You really need to shake up the bottle before you use it to get that color tint dispersed, because if it settles, it settles. That's what happens. But the idea of leaving it in the vat, if I had 2 or 3 vats, I totally would. I'd print the covers that I've seen on Thingiverse out of TPU and just snap a cover on it and stick it in a slot somewhere, you know, out of reach, out of mind, out of body, so it doesn't stink up the whole room. It'll have a nice little seal on the top. But I just thought this was a cool idea because, you know, I only have the 1 vat and I only have 1 resin printer, and I'm still learning how to do it. And then I don't want to waste any drops because, you know, a couple of tablespoons of this stuff can print something. So I just thought it was a cool idea. I'm not currently printing with mine, but when I get ready to print with some sort of SLA or whatever printer, I have this cool little setup that I can use. There was like 5 or 6 different ones on Thingiverse. This one had the least amount of hardware. You only need a couple of like M10 or M12 bolts to just bolt this on. I guess it's there's a little spacer if you need it, and then this just bolts onto the bottom of this. So it becomes all one apparatus. So you can just take the paper cone and slide it in there, and then put your vat tray on there, and then it can be moved up and down because this has teeth on it. There's teeth on that, so it'll grip, and you have the turn bolt on the back. Inside the little resin vat, before I talk too much, there's, I don't know if you can see them, but there's teeth in there too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so that makes it, so it grips onto here. It's pretty sturdy. Once you put a bottle of resin on here, there's all your weight, there's all your balance right there, because most of the trays are made out of metal, so you need that counterbalance. And it's not too high that I would worry about it flipping over. The only thing I need to do is obviously super glue the heck out of this so it's one piece. Now I have a D-Max, I could have printed it all one go, but I wanted to make sure that this was printed like this, which gives me the strength of the layers going upwards. And this was printed like this, which gave me a stack here and layers going this way. So I thought that would be the best way to print it instead of this way, because I wanted the layers to be stacked down here where the pressure is being put. But this, I wanted to make sure it was printed like this because all the filament is running up and down. So yeah, I've just got this all printed out, and like I said, now I just need a really nice resin printer. And
so
using it.
Chat has exploded with Aaron's sudden departure. They've exploded with some ideas as to where he might have gone. This is my brother here. Had to go 3D print a Crappy Patty.
That might be it. Yeah.
Wellbot says gummy dump time. He also says that'd be one nasty extrusion.
I'm thinking that Krabby Patty has turned into a Krabby something.
Yeah.
Did he get all 10 bites in?
Well, right now we're up to 11. I went to tell him that, and he disappeared.
I think you know what it is.
Said, oh, geez, I need to get out of here.
It's that gag reflex. It hit him because he muscled through those 10 bites, and he just remembered how nasty it was, and he had to split before he made Krabby Patty soup on his camera.
It was the lime kale.
Oh, bougie lettuce.
Bougie lettuce. Oh, jeez. Oh, man. That's too good.
So the print that's going behind me is more of that same filament. I'm trying to use up the roll for a test, and it's just printing a really cool vase design I found on My Mini Factory, a new artist I kind of just discovered. I haven't had a chance to, actually I can bring the camera around and show you the GG. Whoop, sorry headphone users.
All right.
There you go. There's a nice little view of the G-Max print.
Wow.
Yeah, just it's a really cool base design because it doesn't have just 2 or 3 bottom layers. It actually has a compartment that you can fill with infill to give it a little bit of weight. I was going to pause the print and put some sand in the bottom to give it some more weight because I've seen that. I think Teresa was the one that first talked about doing that. But I figure it's got enough top and bottom layers, and this filament's really dense. It's not super tall. It's like a 3.5 hour print. So yeah, but it's chugging away. I like to print things slow if I'm not in a hurry. I don't really feel like, oh, I got to get this done fast. So it's only running at like 40 millimeters per second. I know the G-Max can print faster than that, but since it's got a lot of mass, I'm trying to avoid some of that Z wobble and Y ghosting that happens.
Are you printing that solid, Jeff?
What's that?
You printing that solid?
No, it's got some. See if I can get the camera in nice and close without bumping it. There is I'm printing it out with basically no infill, but it's got an outer wall and an inner wall. As I said, I discovered this artist, and it looks like he's sculpting the vases, not turning them in like AutoCAD or whatever. So the walls are super thick, so they require a little extra. And I just thought this would be really cool and super durable.
This is how the gummy burger went. I got 10 bites out of it.
Hey, by the way, Aaron, we got 11 likes now. Just let you know.
I figured.
So how was your trip to eliminating the Krabby Patty earlier?
Oh yeah, we figured you left so abruptly that, as my mother put it, had to go 3D print a Krabby Patty. Or what was a little bit nicer, gummy dump time.
Oh, whenever StreamYard kicked me off just now?
Yeah, blame StreamYard, sure.
I've been trying to connect it this entire time, and finally, it finally came back up. That's what she said.
Hey, well, you know what? You need to take another bite for that, because it's 11 likes right now.
Yeah, let's see.
By the way,
I can still taste it, which is what she said.
Sure.
Come on, go down on that Krabby Patty. Come on, go down on it.
Oh my gosh.
You
My wife watches these streams.
Just cram it in there. Just cram it in.
Cram it in.
Oh, man.
Swallow. Oh, God. He's taking a huge bite.
I need moderators for my special guests. Where's Chatbot at?
Yeah, Teresa's double daring you to eat the whole thing.
Teresa, you gotta line up some more people to come like this video so that he can.
Yeah, so we need to finish that thing tonight.
Because I've been through this. You know, I had to do the zombie Skittles. I got 4 zombie Skittles.
Exactly, and those are nasty tasting. Like it could have tasted like, dirty socks or something.
Well, boss, it's a physical challenge.
I would have much rather dirty socks.
Have you guys tried that chip challenge? Or what was the chip challenge? Where the chip comes like in this coffin-looking thing?
Is that like a sriracha hot chip thing?
Yeah, thing's got like it's black. It's so full of. A friend of mine took the challenge. Miserably, of course. I think everybody does. But he's like, "Hey, why don't you have a bite of this chip? It's really good." Oh God, that thing at first is like, okay, that's not so bad. So I take a second bite. 30 seconds later, I was on fire.
And Jimmy likes the hot sauce too. I mean, I've eaten with the guy before, and usually the bottle of hot Tapatio is half empty when he's done with whatever we're eating.
I thought you were going to say that it's like he just empties bottles of it.
That's pretty accurate, even on ice cream.
Oh, God, no.
Hey, Brian, thanks for stopping in, Brian. I appreciate
Later,
it.
Brian.
Bye, Brian.
Have a good one. Oh, also, if anyone can ever get a hold, my brain just died. It's the gummy bear. It's right in my brain. Of Eddie Moser. Eddie Moser lives around here, down in Arkansas, I guess. He asked if I wanted to meet up Black Friday. He said he'd have a surprise for me if we met up Black Friday. I didn't realize this till after the stream, and I've not been able to get a hold of Eddie.
You know, I haven't seen him. Of course, I haven't been on Twitter very much lately, but I haven't seen him for a while.
No, I haven't seen him for a couple of days too. I'm on there all day, pretty much.
We'll tweet it out, Aaron. We'll find him.
Yeah, we'll find him for you.
So, because I'm all for meeting up maker friends. So,
was it a good surprise or was it a bad surprise? Was it like
probably Krabby Patty Burger?
Or was it like, hey, next time we meet, I got a surprise for you, buddy?
Remember that time 10 years ago you dated my sister? It's going down, son.
You remember that? You did.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I'm totally up for meeting makers that are local as possible. So, oh, speaking of, I got that TPU that I need for printing flexibles on my Kitty Tech the other day.
Oh, nice.
And so there's this local maker guy. He's in Nixa, so Springfield, and then goes Nixa is a little like 30 minutes south of Springfield. He has his own 3D printing business that he does, and he actually prints cookie cutters. And he has got a bunch of Ziltac. So I got the 2 boxes. I got white, which was really cool. White. It's kind of a excuse me.
Like a white?
A matte, like a matte white.
Like a Jimmy white.
So, because I've got the Overture white. I've got a kind of an off-white from Maker Geek. It's the Raptor Series PLA, and then I've got the Ziltac, and the Ziltac's a white filament.
Nice.
It's really interesting.
I don't know if I feel so comfortable with all this white. So sounds like there's something going on here. I don't know.
What do you mean white?
Yeah.
So, but I'm excited to try to print with the flexible. But the guy, I got in there, and all I could walk in and instantly hear printers just going in the little bay there. And I walked back there because that's where all the filament was. I saw this big freaking printer, and I mean huge. Let's see. Its print bed was probably about 3 feet.
Yikes.
Wow.
I don't even remember the brand. I mean, it was huge. I was just like,
That's what she said.
phone ring. Give me a second.
All right.
Uh-oh. Station's going down.
Hello. Definitely not live streaming right now. Definitely doing my job and not ignoring any of my responsibilities.
Hopefully, he doesn't have that on speakers right now. I don't remember seeing the headphones. It's funny because the station I work at, there's a guy, he's in master control. And master control is basically monitoring the signal coming in and out of the system. And it's, there's not just one station. Most TV stations have 3 channels that they broadcast at the same simultaneously. and they're taking in feeds for those other two. They're not actually manually doing anything but monitoring it. And the other thing they have to do is monitor the commercial breaks and all the, you know, everything has to be down to a science. And I see a lot of times, just like Eric, there's a guy that's doing the same thing he's doing. I've been in the shop at like 9, 10 o'clock at night.
Live streaming?
He's live streaming something, and I like walk by and I'm like, oh, sorry, dude. You know, I'm like, wow, I guess I'm on the stream now.
So if we just zoom in really close, we can get free TV over there in the corner.
Yeah, there we go. There you go. Master control.
Not a lot of entertainment going on right now.
So what I'm thinking is it's about time for us to move on to our next segment, which is the condenser. So the condenser, for those of you guys who are joining us for the first time or are not familiar with the show, the condenser is basically where we take the top 3D printing news stories of the last week or so. We just kind of talk about it super fast. We try and condense it into a short little news clip. And so first, let me just go ahead and share my screen. I'm not exactly sure how this is going to work, but
it just should layer us.
We'll see. Let's see.
Yeah, there you go.
Hey, that's not bad. Okay, I thought it was
we gotta get you.
Chris is on top.
always. So the first story that I wanted to talk about, let me massage Jimmy's head here. Is Aleph Objects sold to Fame 3D. So if you guys don't know who Aleph Objects are, that is the company formerly known as Lulzbot, right? So a lot of people know them as Lulzbot. And a couple weeks ago, we talked about this on our stream. They said that October 31st was going to be their last day, and they had laid off like 88% of their employees or something crazy like that. And luckily, Fame 3D stepped in and purchased Lulzbot so that Lulzbot lives, man. What do you guys think about that?
That's awesome. Are they going to rehire any of the people laid off?
Ooh, that's a great question. Are you saying you want to replace one of them?
Possibly. I'm always open for new opportunities.
There you go, Jimmy. Move to Colorado. You'll be closer to me.
I got family back there.
Then it only take you what 8 to 12 hours to drive to Missouri. Well, depending.
That's true.
Depending on where we're at.
It doesn't say. There's not much information on it. It's just kind of a new thing. 3 days ago it happened, and it doesn't say if they're planning on hiring new people. It just says that their assets have been sold to the Fargo Additive Manufacturing Equipment 3D, Fame 3D.
And they're keeping it open source too, right?
Yeah, well, it says the U.S.-based company is known for a strict open source approach.
Yes. And hopefully
they will
keep them alive because they're a great company.
Oh, yeah. I mean, watching that video by 3D Printing Nerd, Joel telling the Lulz Bio project they've got going on, it's super cool. And then, Lulzbot printers are just like freaking tanks, man.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Where they take it, they put it in the back of the Jeep and they go rock climbing and stuff, and it doesn't mess up the printer or whatever. My printers, I breathe on them, they mess up.
Yeah, you get Z-wobble just by walking past it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well,
Curtis Lucky 13 vinyl used to do all the stickers.
Yeah.
He's got Lulzbots, and they are awesome. Really nice printers.
Well, at CES 2 years ago, they had their Lulzbot factory. They moved the whole basically assembly system to CES, and they were doing like building printers you could buy right there. Joel saw the whole thing. I think he actually helped them build a printer and stuff. And there was like a Joel telling, I believe, 3D printing that they gave away.
Yeah,
I remember that was really cool.
Yeah, they're good people there. I'm just glad somebody picked them up.
And then on more important news, let's talk about Jay Leno.
Oh yeah.
This is the most important thing. No, so Jay Leno partners with Stratasys so that he can get on-demand manufacturing of car parts. If you guys don't know, Jay Leno's a huge car guy, and so this is actually really cool that he just can get custom 3D printed parts to replace his, stuff on his car, which is super sick.
And see, I've known actually about Jay Leno doing 3D printing for car parts for years.
Yeah, I think it wasn't a engine head that he had done on one of his cars. It was a head they couldn't get any longer, so they actually 3D modeled the head and had it printed in steel, I believe it was, and thing worked great.
Oh,
yeah. There's making leaps and bounds. I've watched a lot of these car rehab shows, and I've seen it in a couple different shows. A big Stratus printer in the background. Twice I've seen it. I can't remember which shows they were. Whatever the recent auto bitching garages, bitching rides, bitching cars. Yeah, it's become pretty main. I'm starting to see these bigger Stratus machines too. If you go to, I know they're like maybe the evil genius on top of all this, but if you go to like the 3D Systems or 3D Systems website and take a look at the printers that they have available, they don't have just 1 or 2 or 3. They have like 40 different printers. Everything from SLA to DLP to FDM to metal. I mean, granted, they're big money. They actually have a printer you can buy on Amazon.
Yep.
I think it's a small SLA printer. Yeah, it's an SLA printer, and it's available on Amazon. It's only like $2,800. It's actually, considering the competitive market, you're getting 3D Systems top of the line. I mean, again, I know people think they're the evil empire lords, but I remember watching that documentary on Netflix about the 3D printing world before I even had a 3D printer. And they talked to the guys at Form, they talked to the guys at 3D Systems, and they talked to a couple other smaller companies. And like them or not, these guys are really making the advances trickle down into the open source community and make our printers better. So,
so I can let Chris get into this. You guys obviously know Joel Telling, the 3D printing nerd.
Oh yeah.
Do you guys know Anna Voltrade?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Sean's doing editing for
her. He made something for her truck.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he 3D printed something for her truck a while back. So, yeah, because they were both in Seattle. Now she's actually moving to Nashville.
Oh, nice.
So she'll actually be close to me.
And there's a lot of the DIY community. Yeah, there's most of the big numbers of DIY woodworking, those kind of people community are down south, from Texas to Arkansas to Alabama and stuff. There's a lot of big creators down there because they get a little south and they have access to really good timber, where me in Vegas, it's impossible to get a straight board.
Yeah, from south to up to Minnesota, kind of that strip, from Florida up to Minnesota.
Yeah, down the Mississippi, basically.
Yeah. So, all right, let's look.
So, what's up with the cyber skin?
So, the next story I want to talk about is 3D printing skin, which is kind of gross when you think about it, but at the same time, it's a really, really cool thing. So, why would you want to 3D print skin? A lot of people, the best cure for a burn wound is actually a skin graft, and it's really difficult to get skin grafts from cadavers or whatever else. And so if you needed a skin graft like at a moment's notice, it's really, really difficult to acquire one. So being able to 3D print an actual piece of skin that you could lay over the top of a burn and it would heal over it and help to heal your wound, that's actually a really, really cool idea.
Yeah, it would be really cool when they take it to the next level, which would be, in my opinion, would be once they have perfected this method, which is just amazingly cool. And it's one of the coolest things. This whole bioprinting stuff is blowing me away. But it'd be cool if they were able to take a sensor or like a sample of your DNA and grab your pigmentation amount and be able to tint that skin to totally match your own, because I'm guessing these things are pigment free. So it would be cool. So you didn't have like this, it could actually be like a solution to having plastic surgery done, you have the skin graft that's 3D printed and actually matches your skin tone because they've taken a sample of your DNA and extracted your Pantone color, I guess would be the only way I could think of it.
Well, we'll have to get a special ultra pure white version for Jimmy.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah,
no!
That's for
I'm blind now. Oh,
I think color's way worse than that.
you guys can share same color. Yeah. So let's see. I don't know that there's much else that I really wanted to talk about in 3D printing news, unless there's something you guys wanted to go into. We go on to the next segment.
That's pretty much covering all the stuff I thought about for 3D printing news.
Yeah.
Okay. So the next segment I wanted to do is called Hot Tips. Let me get this out of here. Hot Tips. So Hot Tips is basically where we give you guys some basic tips and tricks to help you with a specific 3D printing problem. Today, touching tips. All right. Basically, we take a specific 3D printing problem and we try to give you some help or advice on it. And today I wanted to focus on bed adhesion. In other words, how to make your prints stick to the print surface. Because that
Teresa said she heard that wrong. We said touching tips.
Well, I said it wrong.
I think she thought it was pot
I
tip.
think she heard exactly what she wanted to hear, Aaron. All right.
You gotta start out with a really good fertilizer.
Yeesh.
There's a reason why we're not monetized. We don't have enough subscribers.
Nobody wants to watch this. Bye, Jeff.
But you know, you gotta go up. Jimmy's up, not down.
Oh, jeez. Oh my gosh, what are we doing here? What is this monster? Oh man. All right, so that's about the end of the show there, guys.
How to make your print stick to the bed. First off, make your bed really, really good.
So you guys talk about a few tricks. I'm gonna go grab something really fast. I'll be right back. You guys talk about it. I'll be right back.
Yeah, you know, the first, my biggest tip, I guess, to anybody would be obviously clean the bed. You should be doing that constantly anyway. But another thing that I've learned is a little hotter and a little extra extrusion on that first layer. You just don't go overboard so you get elephant footing, but a little bit of extra height and width and a little hotter on my first layer.
Yeah, if you first of all, do what Jimmy has said to do in most of his videos, and I highly recommend doing this because I've done it on my ANET. What you do is yes, you do that too, Jimmy.
Yes.
But you take the springs and on your bed and you tighten them all the way down, and then you level your bed to get close to it, and then you extend them up. That way you don't get that expansion and retraction as bad.
Right.
Because I had issues with my ANET doing that constantly, and I did that trick, and I've not really had a problem other than the fact that it should be on my ANET after it gets printed out again, one side be just a little off. So I use a ruler and I make sure that they're at the same height on each side. Now I could fix that problem to get better adhesion on my bed with my ANET. If you have that issue doing that, you can get bearings and pulleys and stuff like that up at the top, and you attach it to the threaded rods. If you have a belt going across onto both that's got the teeth on it, that keeps them level. You won't have that uneven problem again. There are printers out there that come with that on there, which is really good. but the A-nut does not have that. So if you want to fix that problem, get the teeth on there. And you can even 3D print something that does it. Just 3D print the piece that goes onto it, slap around there. You use some JB Weld if you want to make sure that's not going to go anywhere. And then get the belt that you need, the size, just kind of get the measurement, and there you go. You're good to go.
Yeah, and that's, I think that's the number one thing that you see on. All right, so this is the two-part thing here. So not only are we doing hot tips, but we're also doing something that we haven't done since the very first episode of the AC show, and it's called throwing shade. So basically, throwing shade is where we look at something that is seen by some people as a really good thing, and we try and tell you that, hey, listen, it's really not a great thing. And that is these Facebook groups. I mean, the online Facebook groups for 3D printing are atrocious, because half the time you ask somebody for advice and they just come back with, why didn't you Google the answer? And then the other half of the time, the advice they give you is way too overly complicated and has nothing to do with the actual problem that you're having.
My favorite one. I have a problem. I can't get my print to start. Level your bed. Well, you need to do a firmware update. Well, you need to upgrade your drivers to the TMC whatever drivers. Or you got, it's like, your E-step. It's like, let's start out simple. Let's clean the bed. Let's start out that direction, and then we'll go from there, right? But no, it's like they go for the jugular. Well, you need to put new belts on your machine. You need to put new bearings on it. It's like,
did you update your firmware to the latest version of Marlin? Yeah. And it's like, dude, I have never updated the firmware on any of my printers ever, and I have good print.
I've updated the A-Net's firmware.
Oh, that's
Skynet.
Says we're throwing shade.
Yeah, well, let's talk about fire hazard.
Fire insurance on your house.
It's in my garage. My garage is not attached to my house.
My A-net's at the school, so it's no big deal. So a few things that I use for 3D print adhesion. Depending on, one thing that you need to really look at is what print surface you're using. I have a student that bought a 3D printer and it came with like some masking tape on the print bed, which I'm like, oh great, masking tape. That's a perfectly acceptable print surface. This blue tape works wonders. I use it on a lot of my printers and it works great every time. And he's like, so I just figured that it needed to be taken off because it was just there to protect the bed while it was being shipped, right? And so he's trying to print on the bare metal.
Oh god.
And I'm like, oh, that's not gonna work, dude. So he's like, well, I heard glue stick helps. So he's got bare metal with glue stick all over it.
You can do that. I've seen people do that, and you can.
I'm not saying it wouldn't work. I'm just saying it wouldn't be my first choice.
It
wouldn't be my first choice.
It's tougher on your printer surface, your bed.
I would say it's worse than normal.
Because if you set there, well, on your nozzle too, but if you go too low on your bed, you're gonna just dig into your build plate, and you can't get that out. At least if you go and you have that paper there from the tape, and you scratch that up, you can replace that instead of replacing your entire print surface.
Right.
Because that aluminum is not steel, people. It does indent. It's soft.
It'll gouge. It'll scratch.
Yeah, you will make a big gouge in that. Not to mention you will probably ruin your nozzle because that's a soft metal too.
Right.
The thing is, like if it's a metal bed like that, I will definitely recommend going with the painter's tape. If it's plain glass, that's when I'd either use Magic Goo or I would use the Elmer's glue stick.
Oh yeah, and do not ever underestimate the power of a good old glue stick, man. I mean, like if you ever are having trouble getting something to stick, if you feel like your print bed is really level and it's not sticking still, you should clean the bed and use a little dab of glue stick. And I've never had an issue with anything sticking to my print bed before. I mean, as long as my print bed is level. Now, if you're a beginner, you might have a little bit of trouble actually getting your print bed to get level in the first place. I know that I'm a teacher, so a lot of my students, they see my 3D printers, they find one for that cheap, 120 bucks, 150 bucks. They get them a 3D printer and then they don't know how to use it at all. And so if you're a novice, if you don't know how to level your bed properly, there are some ways you can get around it by doing things like you can print on top of a raft. So in your settings, you print on a raft and it gives you a nice big area that it can stick to the print bed underneath your print to help it to stick better. You can use a brim, which basically just widens out the base of your model so that it has more surface area sticking to the build plate. I like build tack, but I only like build tack. I don't love build tack. I've had some issues with it. I don't know why, but the build tack that I bought for my printer, if I don't have my print surface, I've never had an issue with it sticking too well. When I first bought this, I asked Jimmy for advice. He doesn't remember this probably, but I asked him for advice on build tack, and he's like, don't get it too close, because if you get your nozzle too close, you're never going to be able to get it off. I've never had that issue. In fact, the issue that I've had more is not sticking.
I had to slap that person going, woo!
Woo!
Every once in a while, you got to
back there, huh?
Too much fun,
They took down one of the channels right now for doing some maintenance on it. So that's the last phone call I had to take was them saying, "Oh yeah, we're going to take this down at what time's the show?" And I said, "This time." Okay, we'll take it down at this time then. So 106 and 11 frames.
And 11 frames, nice.
Jeff knows how that is.
Yes, I do.
Counting frames.
So what's your guys' take on this? You guys have heard of the PC master race, right? Where these guys are like, you have to put thermal paste a specific way on a CPU and all that kind of stuff. What about these guys that I refer to them as the master race when it comes to 3D printing? Because they're always like, I print directly on glass. I don't put any glue down. It sticks perfectly every time if you just clean it. What's your guys' take on that?
Well, I will say that on my ANET, I print on glass and I don't use any glue. I just clean it every time, and I've never had an adhesion problem on my ANET.
Let's see. Originally starting off, I used painter's tape and glue stick. Because, I was trying to make sure that parts were not coming off, and found out, I did research on it and watched a whole bunch of videos on printing and getting started before I got started. But the problem I had is I had the aluminum build plate. There was no glass surface or anything. So I did put glass surface on top of that. That wasn't rated for doing stuff. Well, I also had it stick too well to it to where I actually had broke the glass to get the part off of it. Yeah. I did use a glue stick for it, but the problem was it just wasn't rated for it, and it broke. So I took forever to clean the glass up off of that actual part. And then my surface I have now, I have the Anycubic Ultra Base on mine. Mm-hmm. I clean it with isopropyl alcohol. Every time I wipe it down, make sure that there's no filament little spots on there from the last print. Make sure that if there's a skirt, the skirt's been filled up off, everything. So I heat it up first, and then I wipe it down, and then I've got everything kind of prepped, everything ready to go, and then I go. Now on my Kitty Tech, I've got that texture, like the build tack surface. We talked about this last week from Overture. Every order of filament you get one spool of filament, you get a build surface with it. Yeah. So you get 6 spools of it, you get 6 build surfaces.
Yeah, that's
which
very
is
cool.
Kind of nice to do a giveaway.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which actually I'm going to do. I'm going to give a build surface or so away from my next giveaway. Also, 3D pins once I hit 500 subs.
Nice.
And I'm thinking 2 3D pins.
I have basically given up my dream of ever getting 500 subs. And then that dream is forced to go away the more I see what happens on the stream. We do some interesting things, man, let me tell you.
Well,
Yeah,
see, my thing is,
aren't we?
you'll get a 3D pin, and you'll get one of those build surfaces so you can do the 3D pin on. That you can kind of flex it. You could take and peel it and stick it to the surface if you want, but that way it gives you that flexible and feeling. So, but, so I've got that on that one. So it doesn't release. So what I do is I carefully use a razor blade, one of the retractable ones that comes out that can break off. And I get part of it lifted, and then I get my spatula under, and then I start working my piece out. Now, if it's a bigger piece that actually sticks up, I can grab it or use a pair of pliers and just kind of tilt it. After, I'll heat it up and then let it cool down. That way it makes it a little softer, more pliable at the bottom, and I can pop it off. But like I've been printing snowflakes for 3D printing professors, little Christmas tree thing he's doing.
Man, I can get those mailed.
I need to get some more knocked out and then mail them this week. Beginning of next week, so I need to do that. But I that's what I do. I just kind of just do that to pop it off. But I mean, you can kind of, as long as you get your adhesion just right. Now it's got that 3-point leveling, and it's got that where you just press the button and it moves it each one. So you just got to get that, and it's hard. It's hard to truly get the proper tolerance on filling the pull for each one. You're like, okay, well, is this the same? Is this the same? Is this the same? That is the hardest part. I've been doing this for close to 4 years now. So, and that is the phone.
Oh.
Yeah, so one thing that I noticed, that one thing that I love about having a glass build plate for my A-net is, if I get that bed level just perfect, then I can, when it's hot, I can grab the print and lift it up, and it'll bring the whole piece of glass with it. Yeah. But then if I set it down and just let it cool for a few minutes, I walk back over and grab the print, and it just comes right off. Zero stickage, and it just falls off.
That's what I like. That's what I like about my Ultra Base.
I love the glass build surface. The only thing about glass is that sometimes it can be a little bit warped. Yeah. And so it can be really hard to make sure it sticks. And then using those little binder clips, you got a metal binder clip that's attached to a metal surface that's attached to, a electrical current, and it's like, I don't know if I really love that.
That's why I like my Ultra Base. It's got that sticky underside, so I just peeled it and stuck it. What are our likes at, Chris? Still 11?
So sitting at 11.
The G-Max, when it came with
let's get up to 12.
I can still taste the stuff, and the coffee tastes weird every time I take a drink.
The G-Max came with an acrylic bed, and for up till about a year ago, that's all I ever printed on, was just on the acrylic. No glue stick, no nothing. All I did was
how was that? How did you like it?
Great. I still use it all the time when I want to use just general PLA that isn't got any additives or isn't made up of 7 different chemicals. I pull out the acrylic and I can print on that all week. It's not a problem. The key to it is the big key to it is keeping it clean. And you do a nice light wet sanding with like a 200, maybe even a 300 grit. Just lightly wet sand it. Don't push down. Just a nice, kind of like a polish. Dry it off. Let it dry. Print. And the PLA sticks to it like it's its brother. Getting the prints off can be a little bit challenging, but the Build-Tack spatula, just because it has that leverage and that angle, and it's got that bit of a sharper tip on the end, I've been able to pop it off. But lately, because I broke my Build-Tack spatula, this little cake frosting thing, because it's made by Wilton, so the front end is a little bit more flexible, or the back end, because it's a full tang, it's pretty stiff. So that's cool for getting underneath prints. And you can get these at just about any store that sells cooking stuff. So, and this actually came with the maker key.
Jimmy's dying. He said pretty stiff.
Come out with it, Jimmy. What is it? What's on your mind, man?
The innuendo is strong in this one.
But the other build surface that I've had the most luck with has been the G-Max has a heated build plate with Build-Tack on top, and I use Magic Goo as like a safety feature. And when it all cools off, I can just reach over. pop it right off.
Yeah, because the Magic Goo will let it pop right off. That's pretty cool. I've not used Magic Goo, so.
Magic Goo is amazing.
Let's see. Because the only technical like adhesion stuff that I've used is the glue stick. I've not done hairspray for it. I know people say hairspray works great, but I've not even used glue stick in a while. I mean, I've used it on my Kitty Tech whenever I was when I had that original print bed that the guy had kind of messed up parts of it because the very center of it had a bubble in it. So, so I've not used it since then. And after I had got it kind of leveled, just kind of tuned in, it was good. I didn't have to worry about it.
So it's like, I know the topic was throwing shade at the Facebook groups, and I was the one that didn't like chime in on that because when I first started in 3D printing, that's where I turned to help get my brother's printer back together, because when he passed away, it was in his house taken apart, the original G-Max that I had. So the only thing I knew at that time was Facebook, and I really wasn't a big member of those kind of groups. The groups I was members of were in the filmmaking community because I had just finished film school. I had just graduated from film school. So when I turned to the 3D printing groups and I told my story, everybody was super, super nice to me. And in fact, I'd made friends then that I still have today. But every once in a while, I troll through the Eligo Mars group and the G-Max users group. Well, the G-Max users group seems to have calmed down quite a lot. But the Eligo Mars group is just people showing off their prints. So I would say, there are some groups that aren't nearly as toxic as the other ones. But I can tell you, when I went into the G-Tech forum, just kind of poking around to see if anybody had a profile for Simplified 3D, some of the comments I was reading were just like, really? You just said that?
I saw a post. I saw a post, was this week or last week? And actually, the creator of the group for the 3D printing group, I actually reported this guy because it was, I don't know, something saying about like Islamic people this, and then like all these people going through and then killing these people, and you say these people are terrorists. I'm just like, it's a 3D printing group. What are you doing?
Yeah, it has nothing to do with anything.
So and then you see people, just report him. Well, why don't you report him to the admin instead of saying report him? So I went through and said, report this guy.
So this brings up the question: where do we go for good help? So I mean, like you mentioned, Jeff, some of these 3D printing communities are actually really good. Which I'm not trying to hate on every single 3D printing community out there, but just seems like the majority of the cheap Chinese printer communities out there just seem to the group is not the best. There's just not a good, solid community of people out there to help people who are struggling with trying to get their printer working for the first time or for the 100th time. So I'm going to ask you guys, all three of you guys, where do we go to get some actual good, legitimately good help?
YouTube.
I don't want to be the one to be the bad egg here, but maybe they should stop buying cheap Chinese knockoffs and buy some quality equipment that they don't have to fuss with. But that's just my opinion. I could be wrong.
I agree. But coming from someone who can't afford to buy the most expensive printers.
Me either.
Jimmy, you've got a lot of printers.
You got 17 printers behind you. Like, I can't afford the printers, guys.
But they send them to you, Jimmy. So
yeah, same with mine. All mine are sent to me. We haven't purchased one printer.
So coming from someone who has only bought one printer, because I got my first printer as a gift from my brother, and then so I bought my Kitty Tech actually, and my printer I bought was given to me, and I'm gonna kind of convert that one over to a working printer. But coming from someone who doesn't have the funds to go out and just buy a $700, $800 printer or more, that you see a $100 printer or under $300, you're just like, ooh, I can afford that faster and easier.
Especially if you're a novice and a beginner and you have no idea what you're looking at, and you're just looking at, oh man, what do I do? And then you say, well, look at this ANET A8. This is my story, right? Like I'm looking around and I'm like, I want a 3D printer, and I'm looking, and I see Joel telling, and he's like, check out the Ultimaker too. And I'm like, I don't have that kind of money. And then I see, oh, get the Prusa MK2. And I'm like, well, I don't have that kind of money either. And so I'm scrolling through and I see, look at the ANA A8. It looks just like a Prusa. It has this huge community of people. Little did I know that most of those people are not very helpful. But at the time, I didn't know that. I just knew that there was this huge community of people who had these printers. And so I'm like, there's a huge support system for me. There's a really big following. I get this printer for 170 bucks. You know, why would I not go with that? And I totally agree with you, Jeff. And we need to stop buying these crappy, cheap Chinese printers because they're fire hazards. They're super dangerous. If you don't know what you're doing, you can really hurt yourself or you know, burn down your house. But at the same time, a beginner like me, when I first got into 3D printing about 4 years ago, it's like, you know, that it seemed like the perfect option. And for thousands of people, it seemed like the perfect option. And
well,
so,
did you guys see Angus's new video on his printer review?
Yeah, the Tron XY thingy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I mean, did you see that they replied and said they were going to address the issue?
I did not. I watched his video on it, and that was pretty much about it.
He posted something in his community tab on YouTube saying originally he said that they wanted him to take down the video, and he refused. And then
I did see the message there where he was saying that, you know, like backlash on this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
And I didn't get
then they turned around. Yeah, they turned around and said they would address the issue. So.
And that's one reason why I said go to YouTube, because you can usually find certain videos, and given that you're mostly getting them from the bigger channels out there like Angus, Joel Tilling, obviously you, Jeff, you've got a bigger channel, Jimmy's got a bigger channel, and you get Devin, Like Anything, you know, so you get these people who have a bigger channel and have a bigger following and who get these printers and can test them, that you could be, oh, well, this is what I could do. This is what people should do when they actually look for a printer, is they should try to follow along and look on YouTube. Just check YouTube out. See what you can find on there. It's a good resource, even though they are liking to try to bend us over a barrel with everything that they're changing.
Yeah, the two places that I turn to now for issues with whatever I'm working on, the first thing I'll go is to the community on Twitter, because everybody's really helpful. And then I usually end up searching on YouTube. If I can't find what I'm looking for, I'll find a forum within the 3D printing companies, hopefully, you know, some sort of forum, or lead you to a forum. I know some of those Facebook groups get pretty filled up with problems, but I mean, and people who don't want to help you with your problem. But if you filter through the results, you'll find what you need. Just your best bet is not to post anything. Your best bet is to keep it to yourself, find the answer, and if you still can't find the answer, then put something out publicly. But as a new person, it's scary. So you're better off just kind of keeping to yourself, read what you can, and then at some point you may have to reach out. But I would start with Twitter, befriend someone in the 3D printing community who seems very knowledgeable about the printer you're using, because you can easily search for hashtags and stuff because people use them. And then if that doesn't work, head over to YouTube. I'm sure someone has had that problem and filmed it.
Yeah, you guys have heard of the Flying Bear, right?
What's that?
Yeah, Flying Bear. No, Angus reviewed that one, right?
Yeah, he's done a review on, and actually, it popped. That's the thing. It's popped up on Facebook. You know, it's popped up on all these things with their algorithms that they do. Like, oh, well, you're looking at 3D printers. Here's a 3D printer for you. I was like, that actually looks really cool. And I looked up on YouTube, and I see problem after problem after problem of all these people that, Angus's words, it's a good starting off if you're going to gut the controller stuff for it. Like, you get the frame and you just keep the bones, because otherwise it sucked.
I'll be honest with you. When I first started getting into 3D printing, the first thing I did is I went onto YouTube.
Yeah.
I probably watched YouTube videos for a year and a half before I ever bought my first printer. And I started with anything to do with 3D printing, I was watching it. And the very first video I ever saw was from Barnacules. So of course it's the Ultimaker. You know, that was his bread and butter, was that Ultimaker. And I think the slingshot video was the first one I ever saw on there. It's like, oh, I want one of those so bad. And so I'm watching, like, okay, well, that's like a $3,000 printer. No, I can't afford that. And then that's when I start meeting up with Chuck Hellebuck, start watching his channel. And Chuck Hellebuck has always been about, originally it was the Da Vinci. And I came this close to ordering a Da Vinci. And then all of a sudden he bought one video about, I think I'm done with Da Vinci. Oh, wait a minute. Take that out of the cart on Amazon. I came that close. But my biggest suggestion is go on YouTube. Look at for videos for the printer that you're interested in.
Well, also go to Amazon, type in 3D printers, look at the 3D printers they have there, then use that list that you toss in your cart.
Yeah.
And check YouTube. If you also check eBay. Check eBay for them. And then use that list on both of those because you'll get used.
And if you see something that's 5-star review all the way across, don't buy it because it's fake.
Just in 3D. My wife backed that as a Kickstarter for me for a gift.
I almost bought it too.
I didn't get it. Although, guess what? It is on eBay.
Well, of course it is.
And I've thought about getting it, but the problem is it would be just a thing that I'd have to gut anyway.
Yep.
If you're looking for parts for a unique little printer and then turn the rest of it into a juicer, that's probably a good idea.
Hey, Jeff, show us your favorite printer.
Oh, yes.
You guys are going to love this one.
Oh, I'm ready.
Okay, so he's got a really good printer. This one is a TiVo. Check this printer out. It's awesome. It's coming.
I'm
just excited.
Hang on. I'll find it.
Find it?
It takes a while to find it because it's kind of compact.
What?
It's a very
not gonna go there.
It's a very special printer that he's got.
Hang on, I think I found it.
It's very special. I died when I showed it.
Are you guys ready? This thing is beautiful. I love this.
I'm ready. I can't wait.
There it is. The entire printer. It's a TiVo tarantula.
Your parts. That's my favorite printer right there.
You're right.
All the parts.
Always comes in handy.
What happened to the rest of it, Jeff?
He had problems after problem after problem, and finally he decided it was best to use it for what and he took it all apart and put it inside there.
Went to Harbor Freight, got 2 little containers, and took out my Allen wrench or hex key set, and just proceeded to take the whole thing apart because if I ever need spare parts for any of my other cheap Chinese printers, then I had a whole box of them.
Oh,
no, that is the one thing that's good about them. They all use the same parts, so they're pretty much interchangeable.
Yeah, and they're all, I may have
crazy because everybody on these groups will be like, "Where do I find this part? Where do I find that part?" It's like anywhere. You don't have to
go to AliExpress. Go to Banggood.
Yeah,
AliExpress, Banggood, Wish,
Amazon,
anywhere.
Amazon. Well, Amazon's going to give you the parts more pricier.
Yeah.
But you should get them sooner. You should get them sooner.
Yeah, definitely sooner than a month.
Well, that's how you find someone who got one of these printers and couldn't get it to work, and you just buy it for parts. Because if they didn't get it to work, everything in that box is pretty much brand new. I maybe have 30 minutes on that printer before it didn't work anymore. So, so for me, the stepper motors are pretty much brand new. It's almost like I tested them. They worked, but the printer itself didn't. There was too much binding going on. There wasn't a MOSFET on there, so thermal runaway was going to be an issue. This is a first-gen TiVo Tarantula, too.
Yeah.
So, they've made improvements. They've got the Pro out and everything else now. But I tell you what, if I ever want to build a printer, I can test and experiment with those parts, and I don't have to go crazy buying new stuff from anywhere.
Yeah, on mine, I had to drill the board out on it, hard soldered the wires for the power onto the board. I put a external MOSFET on it for the bed. There's a lot of upgrades that had to be done on it in order to make it safe.
Wow. Almost half an hour.
You shouldn't have to do that.
Almost had that channel down for half an hour, and I finally get another call from another. You get like, AT&T and all them, that you were going through, and Dish and stuff like that. So I get them calling and say, oh, well, it's down. Like, yeah, we're doing maintenance. Well, we're doing maintenance. It went down at 106. It's 1:30.
And some lady somewhere was cussing you the entire time. Why in the world is my channel down for? Oh my God!
Well, see, I don't get those calls.
The switch at the station. I just know it.
Now I need to know where my stories went, Bill. Bill, where are my stories?
Where's
my
my
now?
beaver?
Yeah, bring back my
right
stories,
now,
Bill.
I know none of you guys are from the Midwest, but right now we've got James River Television going on that channel.
Uh-oh.
That's my jam.
Which James River is a lot better than Jim Baker.
Is he?
Well, when you set the bar that low.
This is just a church. Well, this is a so James River, they've got 3 churches around Springfield. They're working on their 4th. It's a bit much, at least, when you've got 4 churches coming to Springfield of the same place. But Jim Baker is actually down in Branson.
Oh, is he?
You didn't know that.
So he finally got out of prison?
Oh, yeah, he's been out for a
special guest on the show next week, or?
Oh my goodness!
I see his face enough as I segment his shows. I don't want to know.
So when I was a kid,
I might be. I'll let you get back. I might be hitting up a couple of people, and I'll give you a list of a couple of people I'm going to try to hit up to be guests in the future. Angus is going to be one of them.
Awesome.
I was trying Devin last week. Devin apparently doesn't check his Twitter. No. Uncle Jesse. JT. Ivan. Joel Tilly.
I've had Joel a couple times. He's cool.
I've got to have Sean on. I've got to have Sean on just because.
I think they're becoming a pair now.
I would love to have Tom on.
Yeah.
I'm not even the gum on Tom's shoe.
Have you met Tom yet?
No. How have I met Tom? He's been.
Tom is one of the most down-to-earth people you will ever meet.
Well, I've heard that, and he's been fairly close, like 8 hours away from me. But that's up at the Mer. Can't go because it's 8 hours away, and it costs money to drive.
No,
and also I've got a baby. So
we're gonna have to pass the plate and get you some collection going on. Oh God, I'm sounding like Jim Baker.
So when I was a kid,
you could start a GoFundMe.
You could. When I was a kid, I used to flip through the TV stations, and Saturday mornings or something, or Saturday afternoons or something. I wouldn't have anything to do, and so I'd be flipping through, and I used to always see the Holy Power Hour. Did you guys ever used to watch those? Man,
no, I didn't have to.
I used to watch these guys. Now I am a very religious person. Just to throw that out there. I'm a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and I do I practice what I preach. But man, let me tell you, when I watch these big freaking dudes during the power hour breaking as many baseball bats as they could because God gave them the power to do it or whatever, I just think that's the funniest thing in the whole world. It doesn't get much funnier than that. You see this dude breaking handcuffs and breaking baseball bats, and man, that's hilarious. I love watching that stuff.
Whenever I see someone just breaking the handcuffs, my brain goes, let's see. What you're doing is you're just getting it locked just right, because I've actually locked the handcuffs just right, to where you get that leverage to snap.
How many times you had a pair of handcuffs on, Aaron?
Yeah, really. And when have you had to do this?
My dad's been a cop my entire life.
Ah.
So does that mean he gets to handcuff you?
He's the one that goes and picks you up from those parties?
Yeah.
As siblings, we've handcuffed each other a lot. Jimmy died, apparently.
There's not a lot of therapy that can fix that.
Sorry, Jimmy. I was talking bad about the Power Hour. I bet that was, his uncle or something. I've offended him. I'm sorry, Jimmy.
More than likely, they're doing a rolling brownout in Northern California for fires or something.
Oh, jeez.
You never know when you live in Northtown.
Yeah.
But there's a pair of handcuffs I'd like to see those people try to break. So instead of having that chain, they are locked. That they only been like this. You can't.
Oh, yeah.
You can't do anything. And I've used handcuffs whenever I was a corrections officer. So I've got a lot of jobs under my belt. So
well, that sounds like fun. And I know that Joe, 3D printing professor, I know that he had a good time when he was on our show too. And so for sure he'd be back on sometime.
Oh yeah, definitely get Joe on. I like to get a bunch of different people on. It'd be fun just to have the conversation. I plan on inviting Joe back. Maybe this coming week or the following week after I've sent.
Oh, hey Jimmy, hold on, man. I got you.
Yeah, my internet just died.
Hey, welcome to the club.
We figured that there was some sort of a rolling brownout. Not the same kind of brownout that took Aaron away earlier, but
Jimmy, have you been secretively eating a Krabby Patty gummy?
No, by some reason my Comcast died on me for some reason. Had to restart the router.
You got too much stuff streaming on your computer all at once, man.
Yeah, it's all that porn.
You got to turn that crap off, dude.
You said the power outer and all of a sudden it just died.
Like, oh my gosh, I've been struck by lightning. Oh man.
Well, God's judge to Jimmy.
Yes.
I
was going to say, I remember back whenever I used to go on to watch cartoons in the morning, and there's that stupid PTL club on. And here was old Jim Baker and all them on there. We need more money for this satellite. We're going to get this satellite so we can broadcast around the world. Spread the word.
They're constantly they'll do this thing like we're gonna go under. To keep us afloat and keep us broadcasting. Just do this. It's just like this is hogwash.
But yet they'll say, send us so much money and I'll pray the prayer of finance on you. It's like, but if you're needing so much money, why don't you pray for yourself?
I was a missionary. I served a mission for the church in Brazil, Rio de Janeiro. And I lived there for 2 years preaching the gospel. And while I was there, it would blow you away the number of churches that exist in that place. It is crazy. I mean, you can't tell the difference between a church and a bar, for one thing, because it's literally just like a roll-up door on a garage, and there's just plastic tables and plastic chairs. Half of them are garages that are churches, the other half are garages that are bars, and you really just can't hardly tell the difference sometimes. And you walk by and you see some of the most insane things, and you just think, here I am trying to teach people something that's holy, that's going to change their lives, help them to be a better person, and they're talking gibberish and smacking people and shouting in weird languages, and I'm just like, I just can't get into that. I don't know.
Well, the problem with Jim Baker is there's like no gospel stuff going on, period. And I mean, they get a little bit of stuff tossed in there, but it's very seldom. You got an hour show and they're selling dehydrated food in a bucket.
Well, these
It's a donation. It's a donation.
Donation. A lot of times they would have these televised broadcasts where they would tell you to put a glass of water on your television set.
Uh-huh.
Put a dollar bill underneath it, and then you mail that dollar. They would bless that water through the television, and you drink it, and it's supposed to do something amazing. I don't know.
I remember those.
Maybe we need to get off of this subject because it's not exactly related to what we were talking about before. That's a discussion for another time.
Chinese printers.
So back to G-Tech. But yeah, we have a lot of really fun stuff planned in the future, and I just want to say thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Jimmy, for joining us tonight. This has really been one of the most fun streams we've had. It's been a blast, guys. Really, really.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I appreciate being invited.
And if you guys don't already, look there. Follow these guys. And this guy up here.
And I'll
I'll
copy and paste your guys' social media links down into the video description for those people who are just catching up with us. I've got mine and Aaron's in there, but I'll go through and find your guys' too, and I'll throw it into the description so people can follow you. Although if people are following us and they're not following you, then what is wrong with them? I don't know.
There's a rock out there somewhere.
All 221 of my subscribers, I don't know. But
no, it's definitely been fun.
Thank you very much for having us both. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
at least
thank you very
see
much.
Jeff for a little bit. It's been a while.
Yeah, it has been a little while.
You still coming around Thanksgiving, or Jerry make your trip?
We're probably going to stay here for Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Yeah. Just because I don't want to leave my sister alone. It's been pretty rough on her for the last couple of months. So.
Oh, I can imagine.
Yeah. So.
You still plan on getting out there before the Raiders kick off?
Yeah, we're thinking about it. We want to try and we're looking. Yeah. Yeah, we can talk more off the air. Yeah.
He doesn't like the Raiders.
You never know who's watching.
He's a Raider hater.
Where did all of these dislikes come from?
He's going to get out now before they kick off.
Do dislikes mean I get to regurgitate this?
No.
No, dislikes count as double bites.
Yes.
No.
Oh, there's a dislike on the video right now. That's not even a joke, dude. It's right there. No, it switched back though. All right. So, anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys so much for joining us. This has been a blast. Next week we'll be over on Aaron's channel. There's a link to his YouTube channel in the video description. If you're not already subscribed to him, you definitely should. He makes some super awesome content. And these two guys are also wonderful, wonderful gentlemen. Love them, love them, love them. So thank you guys so much for watching. And I guess we will see you guys next week. Yeah?
Yeah.
Take care.
Yeah, thanks for having us, guys.
Take care.
Guys.
We'll see you.
Good night, everybody.